Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you a little update. So the back, the side, and the front, and then the little side piece. I got everything nicely situated. I even made a chimney. I know, right? It's pretty cool. Alright, so this is where I'm going to put some faux windows in the front and where the door is going to be. Once I put the stonework on, I want to make sure I leave these areas blank so I can put my other pieces there that are needed. So now it's just a question of painting. So large brush, because that's the easiest. I mix two different paints, black and this is a cashmere tan. So, you know, you can do whatever you like. But that's what I'm using. And then I water it down a bit so it makes more like a thick kind of stain. I don't want it to be too opaque because I'm going to be putting another coat on top anyway, so there's no point in wasting paint if you don't have to. So now it's just a question of painting everything. What I did do is because I did see some gaps when I had this, we'll call it the basement or the foundation. I did put some more paper in there, and I did end up collaging paper on here too. So my fireplace is a little bit off. I don't think it's going to matter overly much. I mean, you know, it is what it is at this point, so I'm not too concerned. And now it's just a question of painting. I don't know if I want to do this standing up or sitting down. Maybe I'll do it standing up for now. So you could use a, whatchamacallit, craft mat underneath here. So, but it's entirely up to you. I'm too lazy to go grab it, even though it's right beside me on the shelf. The thing is, it slides around unless I tape it down, and I don't feel like doing that, so. So, yeah. Yesterday was very busy, so I did a lot of the videos for this piece yesterday, so I'm a little bit tired and a little bit talked out, but you know, I had a lot of fun making this, and hopefully you are also trying to create something, whether that's, you know, sketching in your sketchbook or making jewelry, maybe a crocheting or knitting, who knows. You know, have fun, do something creative. Maybe you're testing your latest muffin recipe and you just need something in the background. That's okay too. So the chimney was not the easiest for me to do. I mean, I did figure it out eventually. I looked on Pinterest at some pictures of cottages actually, just to see how some of them would actually look. I think mine might be a little bit on the tall side. Not that that is a big deal. I mean, this is just an imaginary place. I'm not doing realism here. So and had I been, you know, kind of ahead of the curve here, I probably would have painted the inside of this first and then attached it, but here we are. It's okay. I can go in with a smaller brush later if I want to. So when I'm painting, I try to wear dark clothes because I know this stuff is going to splatter. I mean, because I thinned it out a bit, you know. So why am I painting it all one color? Well, for the very simple reason that everything is unified, and then whatever I put over top, it's not going to matter too much if I miss a little spot. So that's my reasoning. And I did paper my little curved pieces there, so, you know, I figure I had the paper out and the glue out. I figure I'd do it all at once. So yeah, I was looking at some stone cottages and stuff like that on Pinterest, and a lot of them have some really cool, you know, brickwork and stuff like that, or stonework, which I thought I would like to imitate some of that on here. So I thought that'd be kind of cool. Now, because the glue will resist some of this paint, I'm not over concerned at this point, because it's something I can cover up with trim or, you know, something or other. Again, it's going to have the brick and whatnot else. On the inside, it's going to have like wallpaper and stuff, so not the end of the world. I'm making a mess over here, so let's bring that a little bit closer. So just because this looks really dark right now doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. You know, there'll be highlights and stuff like that. And because this is going to be a winter, you know, Christmas kind of cottage, I don't know if I want to add snow or not. I know I want to add moss, that's for sure, but I don't know about snow. I mean, Christmas is coming up fairly soon anyway, so it's something I could add, because I could just get it at the Dollar Tree or whatever. They have the fake snow there. I could attach some to it, but we shall see. What else do I want to do? So I want to do the wire beds again. There's a tutorial that I looked at, and it was way too big for what I needed it to be. So I adjusted the size. It's fairly simple to do, but I absolutely loved making the little French mattress. That's my favorite, I think. It was adorable. I did notice my roof line on the other side is very crooked, but I can fix that with shingles, so I'm not too worried about that either. You start noticing all these little discrepancies once you start, you know, investigating a little bit too closely, but it's not the end of the world. And this is kind of the boring part, but also kind of very satisfying, because everything is getting unified. Probably need to get a small paintbrush in some of these little crevices. Yeah, I'll get another paintbrush for that. I recently had to update my paintbrush supplies because, well, first of all, they were on sale at Michael's, so that was a given for me. But I go through paintbrushes quite a bit, and I've had some of them for a very, very long time, but I treat them kind of horribly, so they need to be replaced every now and then. I will still keep the other ones, but when I do my smaller miniatures and stuff like that, it's very difficult to paint with a brush that is kind of looking like an old broom. So, so I want to make sure I get these window frames. I am going to put it's like wood trim and stuff like that. I still haven't decided if I want to do acetate on them. I don't know. I have acetate, so it's not a big deal, but you know, sometimes, like with my other miniatures, I haven't done it, so I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not putting in lights that I'm aware of, so it's not as if it's important to do so. I hope you can see this. This is kind of boring, I know, but I thought I'd take you along for the process. Again, you know, feel free to fast forward to the end. or, you know, put it on double time. So yeah, the other reason why I'm painting it all one color right now, because I don't want to get like paint in here later on from the outside. So I figure if I do it all one color, then it would be easier to do the other side and have it nice and neat, which will be nice. I'm thinking maybe next time when I do these little overhangs over the windows or doors, I might make them a little bit smaller. I kind of like the size of them, and it just saves me from cutting them down and stuff. I like the over-exaggeration, maybe. You know, it just looks a bit more whimsical. And I did paper them, so everything will be nice and uniform. So yeah, you can see, you know, it's not overly dark, but this is going to have shingles on it, so it's not a big deal, right? But it's all the edges that have me concerned for the most part. I want to make sure all the edges are nice and painted. And because it's paper, it's kind of, you know, you got to get in there. And so when I did my my little metal bed for my other dollhouse or miniature, I made a canopy for it. It didn't quite suit the height of the space, but I think I'd like to do something like that too in another one maybe. Maybe I'll make a castle, like a turret or something like that. And then I can do that, sort of a princessy kind of thing. That'd be kind of cool. Do something a bit more obviously fairy tale. Alright, so the good thing is I can just sort of hold on to this and turn it around and sort of see where I still need to paint, which is very handy. A little bit awkward for you, but so I still haven't figured out how I'm going to do that front porch. If anybody has any ideas, let me know. I want to do, I think, tongue depressors, obviously, and then maybe a stained wood porch. I mean, stone cottages, sometimes they have just the plain painted white, but I don't know. It seems a bit too obvious, maybe. Alrighty. Done, done, and done. Now I need to go over here. So I want to also do some vines and stuff like that. So I've seen it done with, who is it that did it with that? Hot glue. So I thought I'd take some hot glue to it later on, once all the stonework and all that is done. And then I can do the vines over top. It'd be kind of cool. I don't have polymer clay. I do have air dry clay, but it probably wouldn't stick as well. But I thought hot glue wouldn't be too bad. And you can get like a finer kind of vine. I do have some Dollar Tree vine on a wire, but you know, I thought I'd go for a little bit more cottagey, whimsical kind of look. And because it's supposed to be winter, you know, it just would look a little bit better, more realistic, so to speak, if it's bare vines and stuff like that. So I think that'd be kind of cool. So I'm just going to skip the bottom for now. And I'm going to end up paint everywhere. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. So I'm just going to lay this down for now. I go through quite a bit of this stain, paint, whatever, when you do this, but I like that it goes a long way because I watered it down a bit. And you don't get that shine. It's more matte, I find anyway. Maybe because it's the paper I put on there, the book pages. So we shall see. Maybe we'll do it this way. So underneath here, I might want to simulate some weathered wood or something like that. I've done that in my other little miniature cottage. I've done it with just a white watered down paint and then dry brush with a wide, semi-wide flat brush. And it just creates like a planking, which is kind of cool. I liked it. It turned out really well. I did it for flooring, for, you know, like underneath the chair rail. I don't know if you remember, but it looked pretty cool. So that made me happy how that turned out. So I'm just going to paint this black because I can just paint it with something else later. I don't know if I want to create like white around the window, like white window trim. I know I want to do a wooden front door. And I did take it off a little bit off the bottom so that I could put trim around it. So I thought that'd be kind of cool. And if you mix extra paint, you always have enough of the same color to really just keep for emergency repairs. Which I've had to do. I mean, you know, it's surprising how much you skip over, even though you think you've gotten it all. It really doesn't. There's always an area you've missed somewhere, which is kind of annoying sometimes, but, you know. Especially underneath. I mean, most of the time you won't see this anyway, but I just like it to be all uniform. So I haven't decided again if I want to mount this onto a wood board to make sort of an outdoor scene. So I don't know. So that'd be kind of cool. I'd like that. You know, like a little garden kind of thing with some older vegetables that have been sitting around for a bit. That'd be kind of cool. So this little portico, I thought it'd be kind of cute to make a little gate to go to the backyard kind of thing. Make it out of wood, a little wooden gate. That'd be kind of neat. Let's see, what else do I want to do? Fireplace I still haven't figured out yet. I think that's going to be last on my list. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, this fireplace is going to either be really, really cool, or it's just going to kind of be, flat. You know what I mean? There we go. So as this dries, you'll notice more spots that you may have missed. That kind of thing. I did try and reinforce as much as I possibly could with paper so that, you know, when this wet stain hits it, it's not going to create the loosening of the glue. So, which is why it's important to use a good glue when you attach things. I know this is a very boring video so far. I'm just trying to give you some perspective and how long this really takes. I try not to fast forward things when I am doing this because, you know, real time, it shows you how much work goes into these kinds of projects. I know we know it. Technically, we know that it takes time. But, you know, when we see these artists, like, oh my goodness, you know, it's so great. That must have, you know, they're so good at this that, you know, it wouldn't take much or take long for them to finish it. But when you start looking into it, it really does take a lot of time. There's a lot more involved than just, you know, slapping a few walls together and then that's it. You have a whole new appreciation of somebody else's skills and talents, which is, you know, kind of the goal when you do these projects. And I don't think, you know, comparing yourself to other artists is a good idea. I mean, you should always be able to improve yourself, not so much, you know, compare yourself kind of thing. I mean, my first time doing this, you learn things, right? So I learned what not to do, learned what I like, what I don't like. So this time around, I decided to paper everything. And, you know, that's okay. Because I figured, you know, if this is going to go to someone else, I want it to last. There we go. So in my other cottage that I made, or the little witch's shed or whatever, I did the inside first and then the outside. But the only reason why I did that is because it was easier for me to do the wallpaper inside. Now, that might be an issue this time around because I can't really get in there and press too hard because I have all this in the front. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know. So don't forget, if this is, you know, where you're going to put your lights, I don't know if you want to put in a separate little compartment to keep it in place. So you might want to cut out a little notch or something like that. That's the beauty of it being paper. It's easy enough to do with an X-Acto knife. So that little cottage that I made from a kit, it was like balsa wood or whatever, so I had a hard time cutting out the door. I mean, it didn't have a cutout to begin with, so I just cut around the printed door frame kind of thing. But that was not easy, I'm telling you. I had kind of a hard time. I probably could have used my Dremel, probably would have been better, but the problem is it's so small and I didn't want to splinter the wood. So I have this X-Acto knife blade that is more like a chisel tip. So if you have chisels, that actually might work not too badly. But, you know, it's probably the easiest to do it with some kind of saw. It just makes me nervous sometimes. I don't want to ruin the project, you know. I don't want to cut the whole thing off or split the wood. So I just took the easy way out. Sorry about the noise. Alright. Now again, when you're doing the stones, like I could go back in and do a darker coat, but I'm not too concerned. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I will come in with a fine brush and do that. Okay, maybe this way. I just don't want to wreck that front porch overhang. I want to put in a wood flooring which I did in my other miniature, which was really cool. I really enjoyed how that came together. Super simple to make, and it was just easy to put the floor in. I really like how it turned out. Now this one I want to do a fireplace, so I don't know how that's gonna work. So we shall have to wait and see. So don't press down too hard, because she says as she's pressing down hard. I want to make sure I don't ruin that front overhang. I'm glad I mixed up some more paint though, because this is really just soaking it right up. Once it dries, it'll be sturdy again. It's just right now the glue is kind of... Alrighty. I could just paint the floor with brown paint. Where's the fun in that? You know, we gotta make things more difficult than they need to be. So I have this affinity for wallpaper in these dollhouses, so I've been using my scrapbook paper for it, which I really like. So now I could use my own painted papers, like I could make my own wallpaper if I wanted to. Had it been more on the ball, I could have done a template of the inside. It might have been easier to, you know, but I don't work that way. Why do things the easy way? That's not how I roll. You could do this with a sponge if you wanted to, and some gloves instead of a paintbrush. It's a little bit easier to get into the nooks and crannies with the paintbrush. Make sure you do the edges, because otherwise it'll drive you crazy. Alrighty, now we need to turn this. It's inevitable that I'm going to get paint all over me, so I might as well just roll with it. And this is where you see little spots you may have missed. So turning it every which way is very helpful. There we go. It's a bit awkward. Still have to get that small brush. I still haven't done that. I would keep saying it, but I'm not doing it. It's a little awkward to hold. It's a little bit wider than my hand, so it's like, So just go back over it again to make sure I take most of the moisture back out. so it's not going to drip on me. Almost to the end. Ooh, a little bit much on that one. Alright, so yeah, where there's glue, it's not a big deal because it's going to be covered with wallpaper. So there is that. Small paintbrush. Hold on a second. I have an angle brush too, I think. That might help. Yeah, these paintbrushes from Michael's come in handy. Alright, let's get the angle brush in underneath here, I think it was. So it's nice and small, just to get in. I mean, it's going to be covered up with the faux stone, but you know, I just want to make sure I get all the bits, just in case I miss the second time around. There we go. That's not too bad. And then the chimney. Let's get that done. Swirl it around a bit. Hope for the best. It'll be fun. Alrighty, well, that's all painted up. Make sure the window frames are okay. They're not bad. Alrighty, we're gonna let that dry, and then we'll figure out the next step. So yeah, very dark and dismal at this point, but you know, it will come together. Alright, see you in the next one, guys. Bye.